Okay, so the first thing to say up front is that there is a lot of potential in AI and probably more potential in AI than just in LLMs, and people tend to confuse the two. Large language models are not the totality of what you can do with AI. And the utility is high. I mean, this morning I was taking a transcript of a presentation I gave. I was taking some slides. I put that into an LLM, and it produced a really good summary based on my original content, which I can send to the client. So that ability to summarize, to synthesize is something LLMs are good at because they're using probability models based on training data sets. The real problem for human beings is that our own sense-making capability could effectively be replaced by that, not by it doing what we do well, but it by dumbing ourselves down to the point where we actually don't see the capability of humans. So the big thing we're working on with the new research program is to get the balance between AI and human-based reasoning decision making, and to understand not only how that happens, but the things that human beings have to do over an extended period in order to develop judgment type capability. The worry is the pace of change on LLMs, their use for human tasks, could actually mean that we lose that capability or it gets lost substantially, certainly from major companies, and that's an issue, hence our development of audit tools. Yeah. AI LLMs in particular, taken unfettered and take for primary data collection, are always going to reduce our imagination. They're going to reduce the possibilities. They think inductively, we think abductively. We use metaphor, we use art, we use imagination. We actually use chemicals. We use senses and data we don't yet fully understand to make decisions under conditions of extreme uncertainty. Yeah, where the past is not repeating in a way which can be predicted by a framework or a model. So there are things and rules that we need to create around this. I blogged on this recently. Things like stop talking about AI as if it was a human being, stop anthropomorphizing it. Yeah, actually make sure we practice things independently of LLMs. And certainly my own rule is not to use it for primary data collection or primary search, because then I lose the capacity to find things I didn't expect to find. I remember looking through card indexes in the university library and finding a rather obscure essay by a guy called Joseph Stalin when he was a doctoral student at a college in Georgia on Tolstoy's What is Art. Now, that would have never come up with an LLM because it was an outlier. It wasn't a dominant pattern. So we need to maintain search capabilities. We need to maintain production capabilities. Synthesis and representation, I can see AI doing a lot more of that. But again, we need to maintain our skill base. And probably the best metaphor I can think of is I make sure I climb a lot, I walk a lot. I've always got GPS. I've got 2 GPS systems. But about once a month, I make sure I walk with a map and compass. Otherwise, I will lose that skill. So start to think about the skills that human beings have they need to maintain, which while LLM might help with that, augment it or act as a hybrid, we have to maintain those skills for conditions of uncertainty.